Hello and welcome to the Young Entrepreneur Syndicate podcast. Thanks for tuning in. Jim Riley here with Rod Kuntz. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, Jim. Thanks for asking. It's always a pleasure to be here.
We've been getting some good feedback on our shows. Once in a while, emails come through. It's like, I really liked your Cut the Draggers podcast. I like when they include the name of the show.
Yes, absolutely. We know what they like.
Love to hear from you. If you got a topic for us, let us know. We'll cover it. We're not opposed to anything as long as it's business related. We want to bring value to everybody. But I like to get that feedback.
Yeah. Well, it's just saying too, sometimes business is closely intertwined with family, personal issues, finances, politics. It's all related, even weather. So business can run the whole gamut. So again, if you've got a concern that's affecting you, your health, your mental health, throw it out there. We'll wrestle with it.
Yeah, good point too. As we head into the holiday season, it is Thanksgiving week when we're recording this. And, people are ramping up or slowing down or whatever it looks like for you. But keep in mind your business trajectory. What you're doing now, you'll see the results of in 90 days. So if you choose to slow down through the holidays, plan on having a slow January, February as it relates to that formula. But I truly believe, when you let off too hard, it takes a long time to catch back up. And I'm not saying don't enjoy the holidays. I 100% feel that we should be spending time with our friends and family, but also don't lose sight of your business and your customers and the fact that they probably rely on you for some type of good or service.
And the other part of that is a lot of people, and I used to work in the retail industry, and this is where, this next month and a half, maybe it's been going on a little bit longer than that, is where a lot of small mom and pops literally make what it takes to get through an entire year. These people are out there working hard, working their butts off to make things work. So extend a little grace to those people. When you're out shopping and that sort of thing, people are trying to make ends meet. And it can be a tough time of year when everyone else is cheerful and all that, and they may not be having as good a time of it as you. So let's go into the season with some gratitude. It's really been on my heart lately to try and spread some joy around.
You literally took the words out of my mouth. I was just going to say, extend a little grace, which you actually said through the holiday, because you're right. People are working their tail off. And hey, by the way, that reminds me of something. Curious how you feel about this. I did not go, but my wife went, and then our neighbor went. I guess Chick-fil-A in town has a robot that delivers your food now. And I thought, oh my gosh,
tableside or to the car?
Tableside. Nope, tableside. Yeah. Here's my feeling about that. I like to get yours. Is first of all, in small town Montana, we've been challenged here in the Flathead County to get good workers at our fast food restaurants, are just in general. But Chick-fil-A has one of the best teams of people that work there and have never, I'm talking through COVID or anything, have not had a challenge getting good people to work there. And I know, Rod, a lot of our students over at Stillwater Christian work there. And a lot of the kids that go to my church and some of the leaders that go to my church are some of the management over there. And so I'm looking at this, I'm going, what are they thinking? What are they thinking bringing a robot in to deliver food and eliminate jobs? Apparently they're the test store for this robot delivery. And I'm just, first of all, the arrogance of them, they have all the staff that anybody would desire to have here in Flathead. And now they're going to start bringing robots in to do the job of people, which means they'll eliminate the good staff that they have. There's no doubt about it. I mean, you go to these grocery stores, the self-checkout, which I absolutely hate and try to avoid it every single time. And they eased it in like, oh, we're just going to test this out. Like at Costco, we're going to test this out. And they had 4 little registers and, people kind of use it, not really use it. Now they've like tripled that area. Right. Every time they add more of those automated things, you lose more jobs. I mean, there's no way around that. So what are your thoughts on this robot delivery here at Chick-fil-A?
You took the words right out of my mouth. There's no way around that. It's coming. We are evolving, and small businesses and especially large businesses, large corporations, they're bottom line oriented. They are not people oriented. They are looking at the bottom line. And so is it going to cost them? It probably will. In the long run, it probably will. I think short term, there will be some financial gains. Perhaps, maybe not. Maybe it'll just be a break even. I don't know. For the customer, do you tip the robot? What do? Give it a AA battery if it brings your food on time and gives you the right order? And who do you complain to? The robot if your table's not clean? Who's bussing tables? The robot going to do that too? You can't replace people. And that's what I think. I think this is a bridge. I think they're trying to find a happy medium in automation and self-checkout. I don't know. Sometimes, especially, during COVID, it made no sense for a cashier to be standing there behind plexiglass. And then when she gave you your change, she stepped outside of the plexiglass so you were face to face, handed it to you. She touched everything that was going into your bag or into your cart anyway. It was absolutely pointless. So, for an instance like that, it made sense, to self-checkout.
Yeah.
But I think businesses, large businesses that can afford to experiment with this kind of stuff are just working their way that direction. Will we ultimately collapse on ourselves? I think it could implode. It might take a few more years. We'll see. But you can't stand in their way. But I'm with you. The personal aspect of business is what makes business fun. It's what makes business personal, and it's what makes business profitable. When you take all that stuff out and you're just looking at profitable, you're missing the key element. It's the personal relationship. You might go there once to see it and try it. I have to say, Jim, my wife and I went to the first time I've gone to a Taco Bell in probably 25 years.
Wow.
And I'd gone to a Chipotle, the new Chipotle that went in here.
Yeah.
When it first opened up, had such a bad experience. I've never been back.
Sure.
I went to the Taco Bell, my wife and I, and it was absolutely a phenomenal experience.
Oh, wow.
It was, they ran people through quickly. It was courteous. They got the order right. Everything about it was just spot on. And I was in a line, and there was a line behind me, and there was nobody at the open Chipotle, one business over.
Wow.
So that it's one of those things. It's just Chick-fil-A's always been popular and good, and is people are going to go to Kentucky Fried Chicken instead? I don't know. Chick-fil-A's got a great thing going. If they mess with what's working, they may find that.
Well, I
and
just
that's
think
like all business.
it's just a shame. Taco Bell's now paying $19 an hour, highest paid fast food in the Flathead County, the one that you went to, and they still can't get enough employees for whatever reason. And that's why I think just the arrogance of Chick-fil-A. Oh, let's bring robots in. Who cares that we've got the best staff in town, the only place that's fully staffed? Let's start replacing them with robots. So I'm hoping maybe some of those staff members will go over to Taco Bell and give them more to work with. Glad you had a good experience. We've been the ownership, MTB management for Taco Bell in Montana, Joe Sample, he's just an incredible person. He cares so much about his people and the staff there. It's just unbelievable the things that they're doing. And he's really frustrated with the lack of interest in working for these Taco Bells in town. And, nobody really knows what the mystery is, but if you're listening to this and you're in this area, you might want to check it out. $19 an hour is pretty good to be working at any fast food establishment, especially one that cares so much about their people. This robot thing fires me up. My wife said, well, we're going to not go inside anymore because I don't want to be handed my food by a robot. I'll just go through the drive-through. When they change that, I'll stop going through the drive-through, and it's also, hey, they like the food, but it is what it is. Right. And this is kind of a culmination of an irritation I had with Costco last week. I went in there, you always go in to get one thing, you come out with 20, but I go in there and I was just thinking, okay, here I am. I grab my cart, I push it through the door. I load my cart up personally. That's the shopping experience. And then I get to the checkout. Well, the only self-serve checkouts are the ones that are open. So it's like, okay, well, now I'm going to unload my cart that I just loaded onto a tray. Okay. You can't load it into another cart because there isn't one there. And the tray lets the register know that, oh, you've scanned it and it's, the weight tells you that it's been scanned and it's ready for the next thing, right? So now I unload my cart, scan onto a tray. Now I'm done and I'm paying, but now I have to reload all my food off that tray back into my cart. It's like putting a puzzle together too, because I got to make sure everything fits on there. So I reload it. I get my receipt. Now I'm pushing my cart out towards the door. Now somebody's got to check to make sure that I scanned everything. Like, really, seriously, if you would have just had your checker, they wouldn't have to check. But I know they've been checking since day one, so that's their thing. So now I take my cart of food out to the parking lot and I unload it again into my truck, drive it home, and I unload it again in my house. It's like, seriously, I remember, I know you do too. Remember we used to go to the grocery store? They'd check you out and they'd be like, hey, did you find everything you needed? Oh, well, I was looking for such and such. Oh, well, let me send the bagger to go get that for you. I know where that's at. Then they'd go get you that item and bring it back. Is this what you're looking for? Yeah, thank you so much. Hey, do you need help out with your groceries? Yeah, sure. I'll take some help out with my groceries. Remember that? They'd actually help you out with your groceries and load your car up, and then they'd push your basket back.
Yeah, they would even ask. They asked everybody. I used to get offended. It's like, hey, save that courtesy for the person with a cane.
Yeah.
I'm an able-bodied person. You help someone else. I want to backtrack a real quick second, and I know we're not on the topic yet, but I want to talk about the hiring. In our area, and I know it's this way in a lot of areas, there are help wanted signs everywhere. Well, I personally know a couple of people that are looking for employment, and they have one young lady, never missed a day of work, hardworking, intelligent, sharp, good personal skills, the whole works, has put in applications all over the valley. And she can't get a call back.
Wow.
So something's amiss there as well, So it's on, if you're an employer, you got a help wanted sign out there. Go through those applications, get those people in for interviews. At least do that. And if you're not going to hire them, call them, do the courtesy, right? You're in business, offer the courtesy to these people who are applying and tell them that you've selected someone else. Do your job as an owner or a manager. That goes back to you. You better take care of those people from the get-go, or you're going to leave a bad taste in their mouth.
Well, by the way, that's how I started working with Taco Bell about 8 months ago. They had a manager that wasn't doing their job and not calling people back. And so I took the time to get to know the ownership and explain that to them. So they've rectified that, and a lot of times people don't realize what's going on in their own organization. So make sure you take the time to look into it. So anyways, I know that's a little bit of a tangent, but look, people, we got to look out for ourselves. We're talking about George Orwell's 1984, unless we're careful.
Well, this topic right here was worth the price of admission already.
I agree.
So there you go.
Yep. I agree. All right. So here's what my topic is. And, usually these topics stimulate from the work that I'm doing, clients that I have, challenges that other people are having. So they're live and they're relevant, and so today's topic is, I want to go back to reminding people to build the foundational elements in their business. Oftentimes we've said this is a little bit of a reminder. I guess I said that already, but oftentimes we see early success and we get ahead of ourselves. And then all of a sudden we're looking back going, wow, where did we go wrong? What happened here? And then you start having to pick up the pieces. Does that ring a bell to you?
Absolutely. Part of it is it's just like when you're running, if you're playing basketball and you're dribbling, if you're out of practice, you get out of step, and the next thing you're going too fast. Or how about this? When you start talking faster than your brain is working, or vice versa. Your brain is already 3 words ahead of where your mouth is, and you start stammering over your words. And we do the same thing in business. And that gets to that whole, and I preach this all the time, slow down. Be patient and slow down.
Well, in this particular case, I'm thinking back to a client I had a long time ago where they had some early success. They started evaluating their opportunity online for online sales, and they realized that their website was way behind where their production level was, and they had not timed it way back in the beginning. In other words, they didn't formulate their 12-month strategy on how they would grow their business and then grow into online. So by the time they got to a production level, it's like, okay, let's turn on that online. They realized, oh no, we haven't even addressed our online presence, the website, the social media. We haven't built out that calendar. We haven't built up our consumer base to get excited for the opportunity to buy our product online. So now they're chasing their tail. And all it would have taken is, a little bit of forethought and management of what that's going to look like and be ready for it. Now it's like, okay, so what do we do? What do we do? Right. Well, what you do is you have to backtrack a little bit.
Well, I'll sum that up. Here's an equation. Okay. Here's a mathematical, algebraic, logical equation for you. Lack of planning equals missed opportunity.
Yeah.
If you fail to plan, you are missing opportunity, and you're going to have to work harder to go back and get it back in. So again, it's all about the plan.
Well, and it's not that hard, right? It's just not that hard. When you build out your business plan and your sales projections, and your budget to go along with those sales projections. In other words, how much money is it going to need to make those sales? That's what your budget is. Okay. And you use those sales to dictate what your performance looks like and where you're going to be in 12 months. So if you're on day one, if you don't have a budget and a sales forecast, you're already behind the gun. You need to build that out. And that way, you know how to hold yourself accountable month over month over month, even if they're your beginning months, to know if you're hitting the target. Because by the time you get 12 months out and you go, oh, shoot, we're way behind. Well, where did you miss it? Okay. What's not working right? What do you need to turn up the volume on? Is it your marketing? Is it your social media? Is it your sales team? You got the right product? Right? All these things work in tandem because you can get down the road and realize something's missing. Or in this case, things are going well on the ground, production's ramping up, and the team in production's going, okay, we got to produce more. We're going to sell a whole bunch of this. And then all of a sudden the sales team's going, wait a minute, we don't have any online presence. How am I going to sell all this product that's sitting in the warehouse now? We haven't even built up our online presence. Hell, we're not even ready to go.
Right. Well, the other part of that too, Jim, and I think it's critical. We actually dealt with this a few weeks ago on a syndicate call. And that was in that preparing, you have to budget for that marketing. You have to budget for building out the website. That should be part of your marketing budget.
Absolutely.
So from the very beginning, you should be putting money away for that. And as you can, hire the professionals to start building it out. Or if you're building it out yourself, start buying those domain names and get to work. But again, it gets into that preparation. And part of the preparation is the financial preparation for your marketing and advertising. Yeah. And that way you should be going in lockstep, right? For every move forward, there's another move forward. Even if it's just little moves, you're not going to be caught way off guard with your pants down.
Well, also critical in all that is building out a programming calendar. And what that looks like, if you're not familiar with the term programming calendar, is it might look like what production looks like for the next 12 months, B, what sales look like for the next 12 months, and then C, what your marketing looks like for the next 12 months, so that they all work in tandem. Now, not knowing what business you might be in, production might be high some months and low others based on, supplies and what's available, seasonality, etc. Or that's just how production works for your team. Well, your marketing and sales should support those waves, fill in the gaps when it's slower, and make sure that they can sell enough or they can sell everything you have when it's higher. That way, at the end of the year, you've achieved all those goals. And by programming it in advance, you know exactly how you're going to market it. Because if you don't know how you're going to market it, you're going to get to the next month and go, okay, what are we going to talk about this month? Well, what you should be talking about is what, based on what your production and sales are and the seasonality of your products or the ebbs and flow of your business. And I don't care if you're a consultant or if you produce something, if you're a retailer, if you're a restaurant, everybody has seasonality and ebbs and flows, ups and downs, no matter what you do. Identify that. If you don't know how to identify it, use AI. It'll help you. Identify it and then build around it and have a 12-month programming calendar. So everybody works in tandem. Rod, I worked in the corporate world when sales and marketing were like the differences between church and state. They didn't talk at all.
Right.
And as you know, historically, church and state, a separation of is not a thing that was made up
Right.
for different purposes. So to separate the two in your business is a mistake. Your marketing team should be as close to the sales team as they are to one another, so that they are working in tandem. And so often that's missed. It just blows me away when they're not talking.
Well, the other thing that is important in this conversation, Jim, is that we are a right now society. When somebody places an order, if they go online, they want it. If they push it's in their cart and they've gone to the checkout, they want that thing in 2 days, right?
Yeah.
Or 5. So if your production is lagging behind, you're going to have a problem. And that could be a lost sale or an upset customer or a bad review. And I can remember back in the day, and this was a whole different marketing strategy. Mail order was big, and it used to be 4 to 6 weeks for delivery. Do you remember those?
Yep.
You would order something in a catalog and it'd say 4 to 6 week delivery. Well, why was that? Because they didn't even have the product yet. They were waiting for your money to come in to buy the goods, to build the product, and then you paid for shipping typically.
Yeah.
Today, at least shipping is usually covered. But it's a right now society. And that's a demand that you have to meet. It's a standard that is different than it used to be. And the people who knew, like I did, what 4 to 6 week delivery was, there aren't many of us left, right? It's just a memory because that doesn't exist. So that requires you as a business person to be spot on, and everything does have to be engaged and incorporated and working together. So good points, Jim.
Well, and here's the value of doing business in today's day and age, because this isn't the day of 4 to 6 weeks delivery. It's the time and now. We have so many great tools to build out that programming calendar from a marketing perspective. You have free social media, free Facebook, free Instagram, free Twitter, free YouTube, free LinkedIn. There's so many ways that you can build your brand for free. And to not build programming, marketing plans around those free platforms is just insane. And if you do it right, you'll take those free platforms and monetize them a little bit. In other words, put a little bit of marketing budget behind them and give them a little turbocharge. Now you've really got something special, and people completely miss that, or they do it too late. They've missed that opportunity to really capture those eyes and ears of their potential consumers. So if you're not programming and looking at all these fundamentals when you start your business, you're missing it. And so as we wrap up the year, maybe you're looking at starting a new business. Maybe you're looking at your 2024 business. It's a great opportunity to give it a little reset. Look at your fundamentals, look at your starting basis, your original business plan, where you were then and compared to where you're at now, and build out some plans around that. And if you've never done a 12-month programming calendar, I suggest you do it. And if you need help doing it, join the Young Entrepreneur Syndicate. We'd love to help you. Not that hard.
We've dealt with that subject in our marketing arm in this. Rachel has done a phenomenal job of sharing her calendars. And it's a tool and a resource that just, I don't know, I can't see doing business without it today.
You can't. Hey, join the group for $99 for 1 month and then cancel. We'll give you what you need. So you just got Business Consulting 101 for $100. You're not going to get that anywhere, but we'd love to have you stick around. The point is, I'm so passionate about people really building out a solid plan so that they're not chasing their tail, or they're working with vendors that are, the tail wagging the dog. You're listening to these vendors and they're just dragging you along, which there's nothing worse than that, because you don't know the difference. Here's the difference, people. You can plan in advance based on your business plans and strategies and program it out. And then you go to your vendors and say, this is what I want. Don't let them dictate the terms, because trust me, you're paying them. They're going to drag it out for a long time unless they're ethically sound, which hopefully you found the right people. But anyways, I don't know. I was reminiscing about some clients like, man, I wish they would have done it differently. They would have saved tons of money
and made more money.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, here's the other part of that equation too. That's less stress. You get this stuff in the hopper, right? You get everything working and it starts clicking, and it eliminates the stress in your business, the stress in your life, the financial pressures, all that stuff. So get it done.
Well, it's just like planning for anything. We talk about in the syndicate, on Sunday nights or early Monday mornings, map out your week. What are your goals? What are your objectives? That way, going into your week exactly what you want to accomplish. What are the 5 things you need to do every day to feel successful in your business or your forward momentum? It goes back to the same thing. It's all about planning, because then you're going to generate that movement. When you're just throwing darts against the wall, you're going to miss every time. You might get one here and there, which can be far more efficient if you map it out.
If that's all you're doing, you better go to this hardware store and buy some spackle. You have to punch. All you're going to be doing with your extra time is filling up the holes in the wall.
True story. Great metaphor. Right on. Well, Rod, thank you for this recording. Thank you for your input. Look forward to getting through the holiday and back on the show with you. If you like the show, please share it. We'd love to hear from you. Love your comments. Thank you. Keep them coming. Keep downloading. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I don't know what else, Rod.
Share it with a friend.
Yeah.
I appreciate you, Jim. Appreciate all the listeners out there too.
All right. Bill well. Thanks.